Hello again. I finally have some time off from my job. Sorry, I had to let that one out. I'm grateful for the job I have, but I have been pretty busy and I low key I'm I'm tired. I don't know. I just want to peek into some people's lives and hopefully feel better about my own. Someone asked, "Hey, you sound a bit off. Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm okay. Don't worry. No, I'm chilling. Oh, also, I want to build something new in my base, and I was toying around with some like roofs in creative, and I think I'm gonna build a tower. So yeah, stick around to see how it ends up looking. Anyways, let's start with the first story. My boyfriend started crying after fate. Okay, I'm not gonna do that one first. Hold on. I, 19 female, accidentally slept with my cousin, 18 male. Oh god. This is something I haven't told anyone and has been messing with me for weeks. At the start of the semester, I went to a college party with some friends, and there was this guy who kept making eye contact with me. My friends noticed and started hyping me up, saying that he was cute and all. Eventually, he came over and we exchanged first names, which were really common names. We talked and he bought me a drink. Things got flirty and we ended up hooking up in his car. The next morning, my mom was talking to my aunt, and they sometimes exchange messages online. And they mentioned that my cousin had just started at my college. My aunt sent me a photo, and my stomach dropped. It was him. 100%. Before you ask, I hadn't seen him in 12 years. He was really chubby back then, and he's very fit now. And even back then, I had only seen him a couple times at best. I genuinely didn't recognize him, and I didn't think he'd recognize me either. But now I don't know if he's figured it out too. We go to the same college, so there's this chance we run into each other again. Part of me thinks that it was a horrible coincidence and neither of us knew. Another part is paranoid, wondering if he knew, which would be super fucked up, but I also don't know what to think anymore. Just don't think at this point. I haven't told my friends. They just believed I hooked up with a random guy, and I feel like I have to take this to the grave, with clearly not. But I'm really anxious if this somehow comes out. How do I move on from this? What do I say if I see him? Good lord. I mean, there are many problems going on here, I will start this off. Maybe this is like not the best way to start this off, but apparently like it is really common for just in general humans to mate with their cousins. I've never done it. I'm not planning on doing it. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I read it or maybe just somebody said it. This could be just completely made up, but like, take this with a grain of salt. But like okay, I'm just making bullshit up at this point. But it's like really common to like end up like not dating a cousin, but somehow, what, just scratch all of this. I'm not gonna put this in, never mind. Usually most people, when they have like their religion doesn't let them, they can't eat pork or I don't know, gum. I think some don't let you eat gum. I don't know, there's like certain dietary restrictions in some religions, and they have this rule, because like obviously you're not gonna like like what happens if you accidentally eat pork? You're not gonna go to hell forever. Like even if you do a bunch of great stuff the rest of your life, just because you accidentally ate pork one time, you're gone, you're cooked, right? There's like this rule that like you kind of it only applies if you know what you're doing. Like if somebody hands you some food and you don't, like, you're not even thinking about it and you just eat it and you're like, oh, this is good, and they tell you like, yeah, no, it's dog, and they're like, whoa, my book says I can't eat dog. There's usually it doesn't really matter. I feel like this applies, or this should apply in this story. Like, yeah, it's sleeping with your cousin is not, that's not right, of course, but, well, no buts. However, you didn't know. Now, if he did know, like you said, super fucked up, but you didn't know. And that's really all that matters, Just don't let it happen again, because then that would be, weird. Also, if you see him again, just don't. You guys spent 12 years not seeing each other. I'm sure you can spend the rest of your life not seeing each other again. So I don't know. Best of luck to you. Okay. Next story. Today I messed up by accidentally becoming the other woman and falling naked in front of his girlfriend. What? So I, 23 female, matched with this guy Ryan, 26 male, on Hinge. Nothing weird. We talked for a few days and he's funny, a little flirty, not over the top. He invites me over and, I hesitate for like 2 seconds, but then I say yes because I make great decisions, clearly. I get there and his place is clean, it smells good. No obvious red flags. We're talking, laughing, one thing leads to another, and we end up in his bed. At this point, I'm fully under the impression that this man is single. Like, nothing about him screams otherwise. Fast forward a bit, and we're just tangled up there, talking nonsense. I'm half naked under his blanket. Life is whatever. Then I hear the front door open. Not a knock, not a "hey, I'm here" text. Just keys unlocking, and my stomach drops. I look at him and go, "Are you expecting someone?" And his face just drains, and he goes, Wait. Brother, what do you mean, wait? Before I can even process anything, this girl walks into the room and just stops and looks at both of us. Time literally stops, and I'm sitting there, barely covered, and he looks like he's about to evaporate. And she goes, "Who is this?" I panic and instantly start scrambling to get up because I want out. I grab the sheet, trying to wrap myself in like some sort of emergency burrito, and he's talking, saying both of our names like that's gonna fix anything. "Babe, wait, I can explain," he says. Babe, B-A-B-E. That's news to me. I'm trying to get off the bed as fast as I can, and my foot gets fully caught in this sheet. And instead of leaving like a normal person, I just fall on my face, completely naked on the floor. Dead silence. I actually wanted to disappear. The girl stares at me for a second and then goes, "Are you okay?" Which somehow makes it worse because, like, why are you being nice? She literally helps me up and I can't even look at her. I'm clutching the sheet for dear life. And he's still in the background saying it's not what it looks like, which is insane because it is exactly what it looks like. I just keep saying, I didn't know, I swear, like a broken NPC. And she just nods and believes me more than him, which that's fair. I grab my clothes as fast as possible, still half wrapped in the sheet because my coordination has left the chat, and I just leave without properly getting dressed. He texts me later a whole paragraph apology, which I blocked him immediately, but I still randomly remember the exact moment I ate the floor in front of his girlfriend and feel my soul leave my body all over again. Edit, I just realized I left one of my earrings there. It's his girlfriend's now, I guess. I don't think that's his girlfriend anymore. At least any self-respecting woman would leave a man like this, or lack thereof man. I don't know. I really feel bad for the girlfriend because she seems like such a nice person, and like the fact that the first thing she says to you is, "Are you okay?" After, I mean, the amount of I guess, patience, self-restraint. Most people would just like, they would go rabid in those situations, but she sees you fall, and not just that, she helps you up. Anyways, I hope they both find the man they deserve. Anyways, let's go to the next one. My boyfriend started crying after face fucked me. Is that right? My boyfriend is really sensitive, which I love about him. But after this, I'm starting to think that he may be a little too sensitive for his own good. So the relationship is fairly new, and we had only had vanilla sex with some light choking up to this point, and I wanted to take things further. I was giving him head, and I turned over on my back with my head hanging off the bed. I love getting my throat fucked. Hey, to each own. Shout out to you. Something about not being in control is really hot to me, and I genuinely do enjoy it. I know a lot of people don't, but it's fun for me. He was excited to do it, and after he finished, he said that he felt really bad because I had tears in my eyes. I assured him that it was enjoyable for me, and that I wouldn't have initiated it if I didn't want to do it. He started crying and just kept saying how he felt bad and asked why I would like something that looks so painful. And at this point, I was just kind of annoyed. Like it felt to me like I was kind of being shamed in a weird way. Like I'm so crazy for wanting it. I don't know. I know he didn't say that, but he enjoyed it too, clearly. So I was confused by his reaction. He ended up apologizing and saying that when he saw me crying, he just felt horrible. We had a talk about it, but now I just kind of feel awkward to try things that I'm into. Oof. Oh God, that one's, I don't, look, I'm no therapist, right? But that man needs, that man has perhaps he has some built up trauma, man. Look, I understand, what is it called, being empathetic. When I see a someone crying, I feel, I'm like, oh, that sucks. My voice may not sound empathetic, my face may not look empathetic, but trust me, deep down somewhere, I'm feeling for you. But it's definitely not to the point where if I were to be put in this situation, I would start, crying and feeling terrible, because I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what she enjoys, that's what she enjoys, and if that's not how you roll, well then, you both of you guys kind of have to come to the conclusion that you like different things, and it may not, it may, but it also may not, work out in the end, if you catch my drift. I don't think that's like the hottest take out there, but it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, I will say that before, cutting things off or doing anything permanent, I perhaps, try it one last time, because why not? And if he cries again, then yeah, just put that guy out of his suffering, Why are these all so freaked out, man? On to the next one. Okay. Is there one that's like not freaked out? Let's do this one, I guess. My life is a dumpster fire. Cheating allegations. Everything started a bit over a year ago. I was the operations manager. I also did sales at a medium-sized printing company. We basically printed labels for all the goods you see at grocery stores. The company is a privately owned business, and the owner, or as he calls himself, the CEO, is fairly hands-on. Just gonna call him Tyler for this. Tyler hired his 24-year-old niece as a secretary. It was fine. She was competent, and I did my best to get her used to the job. I was friendly, and I would chat her up often. She would come to me if she ever had a problem, and I thought it was innocent. I thought nothing of it. She would come to my office to chat me up, and I just figured she was being friendly and trying to get chummy at the office. I was wrong. Over the holidays, a week before the Christmas party, she kissed me. Yes, I had been drinking. No, I did not reciprocate. I said, I don't know what I did to lead you on, but I'm happily married. I'm sorry. And I left the room. The company had booked a pub for the party, and we were in the billiards room alone. So, yes, that was stupid of me. I know. I left the party and I went home. I immediately told my wife what had happened, and I did not withhold or lie to my wife. From then on, I kept my distance from her, making sure to never be alone in the same room again. I thought it was done, and I thought the issue was resolved. Oh boy, it was not. And now my life is ruined. Fast forward to the end of January. The owner calls me and tells me he's coming in for an emergency meeting with me. Long story short, it was not a good meeting. In fact, I was fired on the spot for violating the morality clause in my contract. Apparently, there were witnesses who saw me kiss her. I 100% did not. And it gets even worse. She's pregnant and claiming the kid is mine. What? I did not touch her. And there were claims that I was having private meetings with her in my office. The second I walked out of the office, I did try to defend myself, but he was hearing none of it. Because why would his niece lie to him? Oh, I should also add, I didn't notice she was pregnant, if anyone asks. She's a bigger girl. I honestly couldn't tell. What I should add. No, you shouldn't. The first thing I did before I even left the parking lot was call an employment lawyer. Employment law is a big thing up here in Canada, and I went home. I had planned on going straight home to tell my wife what had happened, but my former boss had called her the second I left the office. There was a packed bag waiting for me on my front doorstep, and she wouldn't listen to me. She chain locked the door from the inside, and I was guilty before I could even say anything. So in her eyes, I'm a monster. I tried to call my parents to go stay with them, but they immediately took her side and have all but disowned me. Same with my friends. I'm a cheating bastard who's getting what he deserves. All except for one. At least my oldest and best friend Roxy picked up the call and met me for coffee. At least she listened and she believed me. I have been staying with her since then. My wife has gone for a separation, and apparently she sent the proof, a printout of a text message between the boss's niece and I, completely fabricated. And in my wife's words, babies don't come from nowhere. I said exactly the truth, but I didn't put that one there. She also accused me of sleeping with my best friend, so there's that. The one, I'm guessing the one who believed you. Thank God I found a good lawyer, a fantastic lawyer, really. Because of the situation, he was able to push for a NIP test? NIPP test? A paternity test. I literally got the court order today, and he notified me less than an hour ago. That's what pushed me to post this. I really needed to let the stress put somewhere. What? This is the one thing that can actually prove I'm 100% innocent. My wife hasn't let me see my kids since January, and I miss my daughter. She has 72 hours to get it. Just a few side notes. One, how can I go back after this? I think my marriage is over after this, you think? Like, how can I go back to a woman who wouldn't even hear me out? That's what I was gonna say. Sorry. How can I go back to a woman who can't even hear me out and who doesn't trust me at all? Two, as my lawyer said, once this comes back that I'm not the father, the former boss's niece has zero credibility. My former employer is up the creek, and he suspects that the company will settle fast. And given the facts, he's not going to take anything under a 7-figure settlement. Some other things I came to find out was the day I was fired, he brought in another operations manager. His brother. His fucking brother. I don't understand why or how someone could be so cruel. Oh, this is so unfortunate. He low-key has a stimmy in the mail, though. This is horrible. Other than the 7 figures heading his way, this is just all bad. Specifically with the wife. How can you not even give your husband the benefit of the doubt? Like, I understand cheating is a horrible thing. I get that, you gotta at least hear them out, unless this man, he's super, flirty with everyone. Perhaps he has a bunch of women as his best friends. He has no male best friends, unless there are a bunch of red flags is what I'm trying to get at. Why not even give the benefit of the doubt? I feel like as a wife or a husband, especially wife or husband, if it were a boyfriend or a girlfriend, different story, but as a husband and as a wife, you really don't want this to be true, I would at least hear them out. So if I were in this guy's position, or if I was the woman in this case, actually, let me not do that. If my wife's boss calls me up and says that, I don't know, he has proof that my wife is cheating on me and maybe has a baby on the way that isn't mine, I can't see myself not trusting my wife, saying okay, well, I'm she's out, get this harlot out of here, I'm not gonna do that, I'm first gonna be well, hold on, I'm not gonna trust a stranger more than my wife, now if my wife says it's not what you think, it might be ours, okay, then I'm get the fuck out of here, but no, that's so everyone here, and not just wife, I'm going harsh on the wife, but his family too, and his friends, dog, what, I'm not trying to blame this dude here, but what have you done in life that literally nobody in your life trusts you? That's so sad. That's I would be so heartbroken if something like this happened to me and just immediately everyone was like, "Oh my god, you are such a piece of shit for doing that to your wife." And I'm like, "Yo, dog, that wasn't me, you know?" It's like, you know me. I don't do that type of stuff, you know? I don't know. This is just all around. But what's so heartbreaking about this is that there's been a lot of babies in my family, and just, yeah, I've been thinking about being a father. Not like actually, like I just been thinking about like in the future if I want to be a father. Like I can't imagine myself not spending time with them. You know, like 4 months without seeing your kid is just tragic, you know? Hopefully, I mean, I don't know how the Canadians operate over there, but maybe you can have it would definitely, gain custody of, maybe not full custody, but have some time with your kiddo, and use that seven figures to, I don't know, go to like I don't know, go explore the world with her, and be like, mommy could have been with us. Next time you see her, ask her, why didn't you come with us, mommy, and let her see what you figure. I'm joking. I don't know. This is really heartbreaking for the little child there. Hey, I mean, it's hard to say things are looking up, because I think things can only go up from here. It's like this guy's at rock bottom, but hopefully that settlement comes in rather quickly, and you can enjoy the rest of your life as a what is that one thing called, MGTOW? Mig I think it's MGTOW. I don't know, where like where like these 40-year-olds end up going to, like, I don't know, like the Philippines, and just like living the rest of their life there. Anyways, I don't know. Yeah, next one. Oh god, another freaked out one. Foursome meeting turned bad. Hey Reddit, I had a situation occur last night that impacted a friendship of mine, and I cannot stop thinking about the shame and guilt from it all. I've been talking to this couple in their 40s for the past month about meeting up. Met up on Field? Is that how you say that? Felid? I don't know. We started talking when they were in my city for a vacation, and continued after they left. They live about 5 hours away from us, so it's not an unbearable drive. I also have an older friend that lives in that city who discussed with me a couple years back that he would be down to participate in a threesome. So I reached out as I was planning my trip out there. For context, I'm in my late 20s, and I'm pretty open in the bedroom, but I am low-key about it. When I reached out to my friend, he said he was game. This couple was an open couple, so they wanted all parties to play with each other. More so, the husband to perform oral, which isn't an issue with me. So I asked my friend, and he said he was still game as long as there's no penetrative sex between him and the guy. Skip to last night. I arrived to the city and met up with my friend. My friend is a straight male in his late 40s and is prior military. The night is going good until we realize the couple flaked on us. At this point, we're already drunk, and we start talking about sex, and it gets to the point where my pants come off. Nothing happens. He took his off for about 10 seconds and then put them back on. He started saying that he's going to leave if no woman is going to come join us. Roughly 10 minutes later, he orders an Uber and leaves. I text him and call him a couple of times trying to apologize for making it weird, but didn't get any responses. It's the next day and I haven't heard anything from him. I'm pretty sure he's distanced himself from me, and I feel like shit because of it. He also knows a lot of people I know, so I'm a little nervous about him saying stuff. How can I get past this? All I want to do is sleep to not stop thinking about it. What? I'm so confused. How did you make things weird? I thought, like, both of y'all were drunk and were, the pants were coming off, but then nothing happens. It's something happened in that time there where pants were coming off, where faces made or something. What could have possibly happened that he was like, nah, if there's no two women here for me, I'm out of here, That man is horned to the gills, I guess. I mean, if anybody messed up here, it's that couple who I guess, flaked last second. It's unfortunate. Also, what is Field? Is that like a what is it, like a dating app for foursomes, or for not foursomes, for what are they called? Open folk. But yeah, that is tragic. That is tragic. I don't know. I don't think I would ever try. I guess, I'm very, what's the word? Polyamorous? Is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. Editing Ray here. That is not the right word, actually. That's like the complete opposite of what I was trying to say. I'm very monogamous. I think that's the right word. If I messed up twice, fool on me or shame on me. Something I don't want to do two women. I will pass on that. Definitely not two men. Especially if it's just me and two guys. No, I wouldn't. Like. I'm okay with just one person. You know. Of course, to each their own. I'm not judging anybody, but I will say I used to work at the little lore here. I used to work at this restaurant where this OF model would just always go there and eat. I'm not gonna say the model, but yeah, they would have like they put Diddy to shame, you know. Nothing with underage folk. I'm just saying like they just had like some freak offs apparently, and were like they had a crazy life. So I've been told, you know, but I don't know. To each their own. If as long as it's legal, it's. Sure, go for it. I don't know. But me personally, I'll pass on that. I think I'm yapping too much. Let's move on to the next one. Oof, this one's tragic. I've accepted that I'm most likely either going to lose all my teeth or die from dental complications. I've always struggled with my teeth. I mouth breathed a lot in my sleep growing up, along with a long list of other health issues. Being homeless for most of my childhood and 2 pregnancies when I became an adult, my teeth are now beyond saving. I had a wake-up call when I finally gave them a good look. I already had surface pain, so I know that the surface is just gone for at least one tooth. My teeth look like opaque or frosted glass around the edges, and I can't stand to chew on one side. My back right molar looks like an entire layer is somehow cracked off. I'm in the US, and like most of us here, I just can't afford dental care. The last few years had me going from being stable but cautious in my life, and now I'm on the brink of everything. My health, the cost of things, everything. I do my best for my kids, but I'm rotting from the inside out. I tried looking up free clinics in my state, anything like that, and I don't fit the criteria because I'm not 187% or whatever the fuck it is below the federal poverty level for a household of 4. I don't qualify for any federal benefits. I'm physically disabled, but I'm still applied everywhere I can. No one will hire me or anyone. My partner starts his commute at 4 a.m. and comes home by 5 p.m. A couple years ago, his paycheck kept us fed and comfortable, and an overtime check meant extra money. Now it's like we're constantly on the brink of either starvation or homelessness. My young sister is unemployed after losing her job and escaping an abusive shit show. She lives with me now. The only comfort I have is knowing my kids would be okay because of their parental grandparents. I know I'm rambling now. This is just about my teeth, but it's so vain. I'm just so sad that they look this bad. I had tooth issues before due to childhood neglect and abuse. I had a pretty smile, and they still look strong and white, and now I hate smiling. It's just so fucked up and unfair. Do I really have to beg online for donations or some celebrity dentist to take pity on me and then use my fucked up life story for feel-good content? I'm tired of feeling like a rat in a cage. I just want to have a body that isn't constantly in pain. Good Lord, that is sad. Oh my God, and to think that this isn't some random loser's Minecraft video. I'm sorry. No, I'm joking. This is sad. I don't know. You know, I thought I had it bad. I remember the time, you know, my mom, you know, comes to me and is like, hey, your health insurance, it's gone. All right. And I'm like, what do you mean, Mom? She's like, I don't know. We just got something in the mail that we're not eligible for your thingy. I don't even know what it's called. Right. And we ended up going to like the little office where we got this like health insurance for me, or it might have been like healthcare, like Medicare, Medicaid. I'm not quite sure what it was, but apparently my father made like, it was something so stupid. Like he made $20 more than what the like the amount was. Like if he got paid $20 less, I would have free health insurance. But because he's getting paid $20 more on his paychecks, I now have to pay $2,000 a month for full coverage. And I'm like, that is such bullshit, you know? And well, I don't know. That was just so like, oh my god. That was like hearing that, it was like there's no way it can get worse than this. Obviously, I'm in a very privileged position compared to other people, and just seeing, stuff like that. This is why like I don't me personally, I don't like make fun of people. Like it's just so stupid to make fun of people to like, when they don't have straight teeth or in fact, I've gone so far to like not making fun of people that I do find it a little bit weird when people have really perfect teeth. Like veneers, especially the celebrity ones, they look so like uncanny. Like it's so weird. It's just so weird to me because like it's way too perfect to be. You're like not even human at that point, And well, I guess, there was something about how in the past people never had straight teeth, or people never had crooked teeth because they would like eat like raw meat or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but I just like I saw that, I think there's like a whole, I guess internet niche on that. I'm not trying to dive too deep into that, but I'm losing the plot. What I'm trying to say is that I now kind of I don't look for it. It's not like a preference of mine, but it's definitely like I can definitely say that if somebody has crooked teeth, it's not something that like bothers me. It's like, oh, it's like you need to have straight teeth. It's kind of like I just don't mind it. It's like it's just there. It's just the way it is. I'm just a messenger. I will say okay, this is gonna sound a little stupid and maybe a little copium, but when I was younger, my parents, shout out to them, they were like, you're probably gonna get bullied in school if you have really crooked teeth. And I also had like a little gap in the tooth, which by the way, also the gap in the teeth, that also doesn't bother me at all. Anyways, but they said, you're most likely going to get bullied, and we don't want my kid to get bullied. I still got bullied for other reasons, but it wasn't going to be for my teeth. And they basically, they paid for my braces, and I got my braces, and my teeth got straight. And afterwards they told me, okay, we got your braces done. Now it's up to you to keep your teeth straight. If they ever go crooked, and you want them straight again, that's on you. You do your own dental treatment, your own dental, you keep up with your dental stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. And I remember being lazy here and there, and my bottom teeth, they started to go crooked again. And rather than like panic or freak out about it, I was like, I don't know, there's like a little, I guess, not charm, but like little character to that, instead of like having straight teeth. Maybe at some point in my life when I'm a quote unquote, like my old boss once said, when I'm a big baller, I may, get like Invisalign or something. But yeah, I don't know if that's how my teeth want to be. Just let it ride. As for them being white, I've never had problems with like, I guess, brushing my teeth 3 times a day. I've kind of stayed consistent on that, so they're not like, I guess, super yellow. Here and there I try some whitening strips, but I don't think I would ever do veneers. Anyways, back to the story. Sorry, I started rambling. I don't know. This is just tragic. I mean, it goes to show how messed up I don't even know what to call it, what system. How messed up it is that, you can't qualify for health insurance if you're like not if you don't fit the criteria, it's like such a backwards system, and it's really unfortunate. I hope this lady gets the treatment she deserves. And I mean, there's no shame, like if you're really in this position, there is no shame in asking, literally begging. If you don't want to see it as asking, you see it as begging, then yeah, sure, let's embrace it. If you beg for donations, there's really nothing wrong with that. Like you're clearly not in the greatest of position. You're not in a good position, like just straight up. And people donate to other people who aren't in the best of positions, and you just kind of have to I guess understand that it's okay to ask for help. In this case, get the treatment you deserve. Life has been rough for you, and setting a little GoFundMe wouldn't hurt. But Yeah, this is just tragic all around. On to the next. Today I messed up by realizing a girl was trying to get me to make a move over 10 years ago and I'm only realizing it now. Yikes. Like over 10 years ago, I was working at a gym, sports facility center, and an after school slash summer camp community center. Not a YMCA, but just a pretty big community center. I'd usually work the 2 to 10 shift, so I was always there when the typical young adult lady counselors would bring the elementary school and middle school kids to come play in our 4 indoor basketball and volleyball courts. And I'd usually have some downtime because they were watching all the kids and my job was just to make sure nothing bad happened. So I'd usually post up next to one of the girl counselors my age at the time who wasn't busy trying to break up some kids arguing, and we just chat for a little while watching the chaos. This was like a daily thing during the school week for like 3 to 4 months, and even over a year plus. There was this one Mormon girl. Oh my God, I have an update on the Mormon bully I had in high school. Who, sorry, let me finish the story. There was this one Mormon girl counselor who was really cute and my age that I would always talk to. She was kind and kind of iced out of the counselor group, so she'd always gravitate towards me because they weren't really friends like the others were. I thought iced out meant like she was like bedazzled or something. Not gonna lie, I gravitated towards her too because she was entirely my type. But we worked together, so I never wanted to push a boundary. We'd always spend the 3 to 5:30 times talking and joking around while watching the kids before they got picked up. One day she comes up to me and she doesn't have a ride back to her house, and she asked if I could give her a ride. I'm working till 10, so I just said, sure, just let me ask my department head and see what he says. I'm guessing they had been watching this with great anticipation for months because as soon as I said, hey boss, X asked me if I could give her a ride back to her house. Is it alright if I can take her back home? He must have had a bet placed on on when this was gonna happen because the way his and his second in command both slowly leaned forward and their eyes and smiles both widened and slowly looked at each other and let out a gasp. It was so iconic. He just said, buddy, if you need to get off work so you can get off, go for it. I just kind of laughed and told her, yeah, sure. We were talking the whole way to her house and she said, you want to come inside? I'll get you some food for you to eat at dinner time. It's all right, no one's home, so you don't have to worry about meeting my parents or brother or anything. So I just said, sure thing. We went inside and she made a Tupperware container of some food and said she'd put it in the fridge until I left, which I thought was confusing. In my head, I'm like, we're coworkers. Oh my God. Can't say anything or do anything that would jeopardize our jobs unless it's explicit. Dog. Oh my God. Pass the controller. Eventually, she's like, want to come see my room? And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I follow her upstairs to her room and she sits on the bed and I just kind of stand there looking around. And I'm like, yeah, this is a nice room. How long have you lived there or something? I don't know exactly what I said, but I just remember eventually saying something like, well, I should be getting back to work soon. I don't think how long boss's name was expecting me to be gone, but I don't want to get in trouble for being gone too long. Oh my God. Oh my God. No. I think she just sighed and walked me out with the Tupperware of food. We stayed friends after that, but I think she gave up on trying to make signals. Well, some minor ones, but I just thought she was being nice. Only realized 10 years later, oh my God, she invited me to her room. She was probably expecting me to, oh my God. That's rough. That's Jesus. How do you fumble this bad? I mean, look, I understand. I see myself as a I guess a goody two shoes. I always follow the law. But if my boss tells me, like, if you need to take the day off, I'm taking the day off, right? I mean, regardless, even if nothing happens, I'm taking the day off, right? This is just like it was perfect down to there couldn't have been a better situation here. Like all of the puzzle pieces were in place, like in order. He just needed to put them in, literally. I've had some moments where I'm like, I think this girl was into me and I never made a move. Like that one time that girl literally said, went up to me and said that I looked cute, and I just look at her in like, just like with this face of like ew, you know, which I think I was more like, my mom's right here. Why are you saying this to me, right? And not actually like, ew, you're disgusting. I was just in shock, I guess. I don't even know. But, nothing to this extent, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I think it might be more bad than, or maybe, I don't know. Anyway, a little update on my Mormon bully. It turns out that I thought, well, maybe I don't know if I think I might have said this already. I don't know. But I mentioned that he had a job, after breaking up with his 1 month old wife. His wife was a month old. Like, they had been married for a month. He divorced his wife a month later. I don't know how to phrase it. Like, I think his wife left him, if I'm being honest. I don't even know. But they had like, they met each other literally 3 months prior to dating. They date for 3 months. 6 months into knowing each other, they get married, and then a month after that, they get divorced. I don't know. That's tragic. But apparently, I saw in the story that he got a job. Just kidding. He didn't get a job. He got roped into a pyramid scheme, and now he's selling, like, I don't even know what he's selling. I feel like if I just blurt it out, I don't want to give too many details away. But he's now roped into a pyramid scheme. And also, there's like these speed runs for like Scientology buildings. And I was literally right before I started recording, I was scrolling and saw this. I saw this one post of one of these speed runs into the Scientology building, and somebody said we should do this, but with like Mormons or something like that. And I let out a little chuckle, but in the comment section, I saw him, hey, no, don't do this. We're really nice, or something like that. Hold on, let me find the comment. But yeah, little update on that. I'm gonna do one last story because why not? I guess. Back to my roots. Am I the a-hole for showering around midnight when I know that it might bother the neighbor who wakes up at 5 a.m.? We purchased a home and moved in recently. Housing opportunities are tight in our area, so even though we were warned that the walls are very thin and that the neighbors hear a lot of noise from the apartment, especially from the bathroom, we still chose this property because everything else is picture perfect for us. We are generally a very quiet couple, without kids or animals. Our hobbies, beadwork, video games on headphones without streaming, reading, Netflix, are generally quiet, and we only invite friends over every 2 to 4 weeks. And we haven't even invited anyone over as we're still decorating and everything. We are the owners of the apartment. The neighbors are a couple and a small kid. They rent the apartment next to us, and before we purchased the home, they warned us that they generally hear a lot of noise coming from our bathroom and that it's their bedroom on the other side. Oh, that's so unfortunate. But as I mentioned, our options were limited, and given that we're not nosy at all, we thought we could take this situation. We sometimes hear their toddler, but that's completely okay. It doesn't bother us at all. The problem is that we bother them as our routine is very different. They wake up at 5 a.m. and generally quiet down at 8 p.m. when their kid goes to sleep. On the other hand, because I work from home until 7 p.m., I generally start my evening around 8 p.m. and only end up showering around midnight, which bothers them. The whole building is quiet, so they tend to hear how I put my stuff down, how my water runs, and sometimes I drop a few things, and mentioned it very nicely a few times, but I can see that they are pretty annoyed. Now I'm torn between switching my whole nighttime routine to shower first, which just doesn't sit right with me. I like to go bed freshly showered because they ask nicely and they wake up around 5 a.m. so it must be annoying to get woken up at midnight. On the other hand, they only rent while we own the home, which I think we are generally good and quiet neighbors apart from the fact that I shower late. They invited us over to listen to the volume, and to be honest, it's not that loud. Sure, you can hear something and it must feel louder in the silence of the night, but it's not incredibly loud. Am I the for showering at night? Editing Ray here again. After I was reading some of the comments on this story, and somebody, I guess, brought up a point that kind of like, made me scratch my head a little, because I'm like, you kind of have a point, They said you are the asshole, but not because you make noise in the shower, but because you think it would be any different if they own the apartment rather than them just renting the apartment. And at first I'm like, well, that's super stupid, you know? It's like I own the apartment, like I could do whatever I want, you know? And if these guys are renting, they could do, well, they could just move or something like that, you know? But then I started thinking about it some more, and I'm like, well, are they trying to say that, you're looking at it in like different levels of like are you being like, I guess, classist there, like, oh, I can afford to own this apartment, and because you can only afford to rent it, you don't have the, I guess, the ability to complain or to really do anything. You have no power here, right? And I'm like, I'm trying to think of it like, both ways. Like, one, if I own a house, many people complain about a HOA. If I own a house, I would like to do, don't mind my dogs on the back, I would like to do whatever I want to do with my own house, like if I want to paint it pink, I want to paint it pink, I don't want anybody to complain about it, right? Or, well, people can complain about it, but I just, like, it's my house is pink, whatever. I feel like everybody should have the ability to do whatever they want in their own home, when they want to do it, however they want to do it, whenever they want to do it. But I can also, I guess, I feel like that's I guess different from, like, buying something like a house right next to somebody. Like, in my entire life, I've both rented, I've been a tenant, and I've also been an owner, so I can understand. Well, one, as a tenant, I thought that was it's just the way it is, like, if you have a professional upstairs neighbor, well, then whoop-de-doo, it's like, you just kind of have to put up with it. You're renting this, you kind of expect to not have the most of, I guess, privacy, because it's not really, you don't have ownership of that. Like, if I owned a house and I rented out a room, and the guy or the person that I rent this room out to, starts going ham on my pantry, starts to, paint the walls of their room, I'm like, well, hold on, slow down there, pal, like, it's my house at the end of the day, it's not your casa, it's my casa. So who says you have the right to paint the wall? I never said that, And if they all of a sudden, it's like, it's, my dog is okay. He's just playing with his brother. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Right, like, if I was the owner of a house and I was renting the room out to somebody, I would kind of expect them to go, live under, I guess, my rules. I don't want them to destroy my house. Now, if I were in the position that I was the one who was renting out a room, or I was, like, paying rent to somebody, that's not my house, I'm not, it's like the same thing with renting out a car, that's not my car. That's like, I'm gonna treat it as if it's somebody else's house, as if it's somebody else's car, because it is, I don't know. I'm stuck looking at it both ways. I immediately said, no, you're not the but part of me is like, that's their house, they can do whatever they want, and then the other part of me is like, well, I guess you could always be a little nicer to those around you, It's a lot more nuanced than I originally thought. But let me know what you think of all this, because I'm still, I don't know. But yeah, that's enough yapping for me. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. This is like, I'm gonna say, I mean, no. I mean, my first thought is like, not really. I mean, I've already said this multiple times, but like, in order for you to be an I feel like you have to go out of your way to do that. The same way you have to go out of your way to be nice, you have to go out of your way to be an You showering at 12 a.m. Would it be a.m. or p.m.? I don't know. I'm stupid sometimes. You showering late at night, that should just be normal. That's your routine, Is it like, not like, sure, maybe you're not being courteous to the people next to you, but then again, who says you have to, Sure, people are going to look at you weird and maybe not like you that much, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you shower at night, then, well, you shower at night. Now, if you want to be a very nice person, avoid showering at night, or maybe, well, I guess showering in the morning. then you could do that. That would make you a nice person. But I feel like to be an asshole, you would have to maybe like, I don't know, drop the soap. Well, hold on. You would have to drop like, you'd have to be blasting music while showering and just, you know, banging on the walls or accidentally bumping on the walls or dropping, I don't know, your conditioner or something. You got to go out of your way to do something, you know? I don't know. If I was in this situation, I really don't care to shower in the morning or showering in the night. I'm showering in the morning, but my whole life I've always lived by showering in the dead of night, and now I've kind of come to learn that it doesn't. I don't really care. I could shower in the night, I could shower in the morning. And also showering in the morning kind of just like, I feel like it like just makes me ready for the day. I don't know. Is that weird? Anyways, that's about it. I am my butt is killing me right now because I don't know why I chose to sit in such an uncomfortable position. I don't know. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this, or if you agree with my takes, or if I yap too much. Maybe I yap too much. I think I yap too much. Let me know. I hope you enjoyed. I mean, if you stuck around this far into the video, surely you must have enjoyed, you know. I'm sorry. And speak of the devil, I actually have to go shower right now because I couldn't shower this morning. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. That's too YouTuber-ish of me. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just someone who just happens to post on YouTube or something. I don't know. All right, I'm head out. All right, bye-bye.